Today we're in section 10.5, looking at similar and congruent polygons. Our goal is to use properties of similar and congruent polygons. We start with some vocabulary. We say that polygons are similar if they have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. And this little squiggly line under the word similar, that's its symbol. We say polygons are congruent if they have the same shape and the same size. They're basically exactly the same. And there's a little symbol that was shown to you guys a few days ago when we talked about angles. We will start by looking at two triangles. We have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. We say that triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. We name our triangles by the vertices. So we have all the angles in similar polygons are congruent. They have the exact same measure. Those little tick marks tell you that they're congruent. If you look at angles A and angle D, they have one tick mark. Angles B and E have the right angle symbol. Angle C and angle F, they also have the same two tick marks. Ratios of corresponding sides are congruent. We'll get to that in a moment. We should probably cover up like that. There we go. All right, so there is the writing. Angle A congruent to angle D, angle B congruent to angle E, angle C congruent to angle F. In similar polygons, ratios of corresponding sides are congruent. We write it like that. So segment AB, or side AB, is congruent to side DE. And then we have BC. Its ratio is congruent with EF. And then AC's ratio, I should probably do this, is congruent with side DF. Now we have two congruent triangles. And we notice again that all of our angles are congruent. So whether our polygons are congruent or similar, either one, the angles are going to be congruent, the exact same. Look for the tick marks. You will see them in your work. Now, the lengths of corresponding sides are equal. Not the ratios, but the lengths. So we have AB and DE. So here's AB and here's DE. We have BC and EF. And we have AC and DF. Guys, if we're told that two triangles, two polygons are congruent, we need to look at the order in which their angles are written. So we notice that AB are the first two here, DE are the first two here. That tells us that those sides, AB and DE, are congruent. Okay, BC, second and third, EF, second and third, those sides are congruent. And then finally, it's a little tricky to write this one here. We have AC, first and third, DF, first and third. Those are congruent. Order is important. So, for example, triangle RST is congruent to triangle XYZ. We're going to name all the corresponding sides and the corresponding angles. We will then find the length of side XY. As I said, notice the order in which the two sides are given. That will help us with the second part of the question. So to name our angles, well, we just go with the order. Okay? Triangle R, so angle R, I should say, will be congruent with angle X. They are the first angles indicated in the order. Then we have angle S is congruent with angle Y. Second angles mentioned. And finally, we've got angle Z is congruent with angle T. I mixed up the order there. It doesn't really matter. Z and T are equal. Now we'll name the corresponding sides. Again, look for the order. We've got side RS is corresponding with side XY. So they have the same ratio. we have, I'm sorry, you know what? Those are congruent. So we're going to say that they're actually congruent sides. So RS is congruent with XY. Next we have, we'll say ST. Doesn't matter which order we go in here. ST matches up with YZ. And then finally, we've got RT. Those are the first and third angles mentioned. Goes along with XZ. And now since XY matches up with RS, well, we look for RS. We see the length there is 6 inches. Since they're congruent, that means that XY is 6 inches. Again, don't look just for the position of the triangle, because they can be turned any way you want. Look for the way the letters are written out. So congruent shapes are pretty easy. Okay, all the sides are going to be equal. Now, when they're similar, a little bit trickier. So we're told that in this one, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. We're going to find the ratio of the lengths of the corresponding sides of triangle ABC and triangle DEF. We will start by identifying our corresponding sides. Okay, so we know that side AB, again, going by the order it's written, corresponds with side DE. We know that side BC corresponds with side EF. And finally, we've got side AC corresponds with side DF. That was the first task we had to complete. Next, we will substitute the given values. So, AB is 16, DE is 12. BC is 20, and EF is 15. AC is 28, and DF is 21. Finally, we simplify if possible. So our first ratio, we have a common factor of 4, gets us down to 4 over 3. Our second ratio, a common factor of 5, again, gets us to 4 over 3. And the third ratio has a common factor of 7, gets us down to 4 over 3. So all of our sides have the same ratio to their corresponding parts. Therefore, this proves the triangles are similar. This concludes today's lesson on congruence and similarity.